with politics and how it affects you. I'm here again with Paul Perry. He's the county commissioner in Ellis County in Precinct 3. Thank you for being here again.
Sure, my pleasure.
You're my new best friend.
Thank you.
We're going to talk about, so Ellis County had the executive order.
And we're still social distancing.
Yeah, we are, and we have this. So Ellis County decided yesterday, Judge Little and you guys, although you voted against it, that we were going to have a shelter in place for 2 weeks.
And I wasn't the Lone Ranger. I got to give Commissioner Grayson credit. He voted against it as well.
Okay, and you guys both, we're going to talk about enforcement, but just really quick, you guys both voted against it just in general purposes, or I wasn't at the county commission?
Yeah, we voted against the final act. I was able to get some things changed in the final act.
Okay, all right.
And then I just wasn't able to get enough change that I was comfortable compromising myself to vote for it.
Okay.
So I voted against it, and I appreciate all the work that went into it. However,
Sure.
I just think that this is confusing to the public, unnecessary infringement in some areas.
Okay.
And the Governor's Act was sufficient for me.
Okay.
And especially as a template, we could have made it more strict, but we didn't.
Well, I can't remember who it was that said that they were going to have the shelter-in-place order ordered because they didn't think that people were taking it seriously enough. There were too many cars on the road. Now, I heard that, and I don't remember if it was...
That was I think it was Commissioner Butler's comment that he'd
Okay.
seen a lot of cars on the road. You know, I drove up from Italy and went to Commissioner's Court, and I saw probably 25% of the normal cars I would see at that time of the day.
Yeah. The other night I was
So-
driving in Dallas, and it was like me, another car, and a cop car that I tried to stay away from. I'm news media, so I'm exempt, and you're exempt, obviously, but I don't want to be stopped right now because who knows what people are thinking or saying.
Yeah.
So let's talk about enforcement, because that's one of the things that could have happened. Like, what do we need? What do people need to know about enforcement? Sheriff Edge yesterday at the Commissioner's Court said he could not enforce all of this. He would break up a group, but what are you going to do?
Well, I think Sheriff Edge took a measured view of this. I thought he took a mature view of this. By the way, I noticed it was his birthday the other day. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, and this is Ellis
Yeah.
County Sheriff Chuck Edge.
Yes.
Happy birthday.
But I think he took a measured view, and what he said is this is, and he still has to have probable cause to pull somebody over,
Right.
and he still has to act like a law-abiding law enforcement agent, and that's how he's going to instruct his people to act.
Good.
And so, but I don't want to speak for him, but what I heard was, don't expect to be arrested first right out of the box. However, I don't want to goad the bear either. And the virus is real.
Yes.
Let's not say it's not. And
Right.
it's going to be dangerous for a minority of people.
Right.
The rest of us need to practice social distancing and be responsible. But I don't think we've entered into a phase where we're in a police state or whatever. So, but the fact is, I don't like this. I don't like the fact that we are, we're setting precedents for how we respond to things.
Right. Well, for example, after 9/11, which was, I think I've read that this is worse than 9/11 in an economic standpoint, like just from the numbers. But
I
we're
think
still,
just because people are scared and now people can't go to work.
Or school.
And so we have the St. Louis head of the Fed Board of Governors saying we could have up to 30% unemployment. We're having other analysts saying maybe not that high, but depression-era levels of unemployment.
Right.
We have depression-era levels of GDP reduction coming to us. Now, we may snap back, but at the same time, there's an article in USA Today by a subject matter expert that is a Los Angeles hospital physician that deals with these issues. And he makes the comment that, these shelter-in-place articles, things are not the solution, and that he has a problem with them because what do you do when the virus comes back in 6 months if it does? Do you go to another shelter-in-place? And he says what we've got to do is ramp up our ability to provide services.
and find a vaccine,
Yeah.
because I think that this is different. Like in 1918, 50 million people died, I think, but that was a different time. We have scientists now. That's a whole other show about how this even started, because I've heard so many different rumors about that. But I also have people asking me, what happens if we become a police state or a police country? Because after 9/11, I travel all the time until this. I'm still taking my shoes off. I'm still putting little bottles of shampoo through. Why? Because
Right.
that was a law that they decided on, that they have, and maybe we are saving lives from that, but tell me about it, because it just seems like once your rights taken away, you don't always get it back.
Well, it's the old argument about and some people object to this, but there's an old argument about boiling a frog. Now, I've never boiled a frog.
I haven't either.
If you throw a frog in boiling water, it'll jump out. And the other argument is because of how they regulate their temperature, you can gradually increase the temperature on a frog and they won't know they're being boiled. I don't know that that's true or not. I've never tried it. I just want to go on record. Never tried that.
And we're not going to try it on the show, okay?
I'm a frog lover, especially frogs' legs. But anyway,
it's actually true, though. If you think about the way, like I've said and people have said for years, if you want to take over a society or a world, you don't have to lift a gun. You don't have to lift a hand. Take their minds. Divide and conquer. And let's just remember to love everyone and to be kind. When you go to the store, you don't need 10 rolls of toilet paper. We'll use that as an example, unless you're buying it for someone who's a shut-in. Let's think about that.
Let's talk about shut-ins. If you have a special condition, you have the right to shelter in place right now.
Okay.
It's your voluntary right as an American to shelter in place.
Okay.
We don't need to put an act out there, in my opinion, that says everybody needs to stay home unless they have a specific reason to be out.
Okay.
All right. Now, we might want to limit number of people that are together or whatever and or strongly suggest it. But if you have a special condition, and I admire some of the people that have emailed me and said, I've got a special condition, but I don't like this act because it's too intrusive and invasive, and I am choosing to shelter in place. And I've had multiple contacts like that. I've also had other contacts of people that want to tell me about their condition and just say, well, I'm glad y'all passed that, or y'all need to pass that, or it even needs to be stronger, or whatever.
Right.
So let's grind the economy down so that we don't have the capital to respond to this if it is a long-term crisis.
Right, right.
All right, and I'm against that. I think the economy has to stay as strong as possible while we deal with this, because we need that capital.
Absolutely.
In order to be able to deal with this or whatever else may be coming our way.
And I heard yesterday that they're thinking about shutting all the airlines down. So now we can't even travel around the United States. I mean, I get that we've closed our borders, and that's understandable. But the airline industry is a huge industry.
Well, and there are travel restrictions in this document.
What are the travel restrictions?
Well, there's 8 or 9 of them, and people need to review them for themselves.
Okay.
Now, it seems like most travel is still okay.
Okay.
And we've got a sheriff saying, I'm not going to pull you over unless I have probable cause.
Okay.
But that, to me, is really troubling. That
Yes.
if you want to leave the county, that you've got to fall under one of these exemptions. Now, if I want to leave the county, and I'm not, because I'm a public official, I'm here for the duration. It's my job.
But you might need to go to Dallas County or Tarrant County for something.
Right, and I think if it's work-related, it's probably okay.
Okay.
But then again, it depends on what those counties have put in place too.
Exactly.
So if somebody wants to leave the county and go to their cabin on the Red River or whatever and wait this out, they might have to pull over and be asked some questions. I mean, that kind of reminds me of stuff that we fought against in World War II and the Cold War.
Yeah, exactly.
We need your papers.
Right.
Explain where you're going.
This is where it starts getting scary. What happens if we have 8 cases in Ellis County and no deaths, actually, you corrected me.
No
What
deaths.
happens if we're sheltering in place as of tonight at 11:59 p.m. to Wednesday night? What happens if we keep having the community spread? Then what? Are the essential jobs going to be taken away because those are the community spreaders? Do we know what's going to happen?
Great question.
Do you have an answer?
I know I'm not going to support further intrusion into people. Right now I'm encouraging people to obey the law.
Okay. Well, yes, and I think
try to
that's
stay within
true.
the confines of this document.
Yes.
But understand, as your county commissioner, I'm not going to support increasing these restrictions.
Okay. All right. We have 1 minute, so let's just say everybody be safe, and thank you,
Everybody be
Paul, for
safe.
coming on. And I know that you're doing your part to make sure that Texans remain Texans and strong, and we will get through this. There will be people that die, and that's part of the world that we live in. And so,
Part of the world we live in.
all right, thanks, Paul. I'm Rita Cook with Politics and How It Affects You.
Love your neighbors.
Yes.